Hello, my name is Gregg Hull. I'm the mayor of Rio Rancho, and I want to thank Albuquerque City Councilor Cynthia Borrego for inviting me to be a part of Lavender Libra. And I'm excited today to read a great book, and I think we're all going to be excited about it. The title of it is I'm in Charge of Celebrations. So this should be a lot of fun. It was written by Byrd Baylor, and the pictures are by Peter Pernall. So we've got some great illustrations here. We should be having some fun with this book today. So thank you for joining me on this great adventure while we read these books. It says here, in celebration of Leah and Sarah. Once again, some really great illustrations of the sun over the desert. So it should be a great book. Sometimes people ask me, aren't you lonely out there with just desert all around you? I guess they mean the bare grass and the yuccas and the cactus and the rocks. I guess they mean the deep ravines and the hawk nests in the cliffs and the coyote trails that wind across the hills. Lonely? I can't help laughing when they ask me that. I always look at them surprised. And I say, how could I be lonely? I'm the one in charge of celebrations. Look at there. Lonely out in that desert. They've got so much stuff going on there, the sun, and she's just enjoying herself out there, right? Absolutely. Sometimes they don't believe me, but it's true. I am. I put myself in charge. I choose my own. Last year, I gave myself 108 celebrations, besides the ones that they closed school for. That's a lot of celebrations. I cannot get by with just a few. Friend, I'll tell you how it works. I keep a notebook and I write the date, and then I write about the celebration. I'm very choosy over what goes in that book. It has to be something I plan to remember the rest of my life. You can tell what's worth a celebration because your heart will pound and you'll feel like you're standing on top of a mountain. You'll catch your breath like you were breathing some kind of new air. Otherwise, I count it just an average day. I told you I was choosy. There she is, writing her celebration in her book, trying to remember what happened that day that was really special. Well, let's look at some of the celebrations. Friend, I wish you'd been there for Dust Devil Day. Have y'all ever seen a dust devil? I think they're fantastic. But since you weren't, I'll tell you how it got to be my first real celebration. You can call them whirlwinds if you want to. Me, I think dust devils has a much better sound. Well, anyway, I always stop to watch them. Here, everyone does. You know how they come from far away, moving up from the flats, swirling and swaying and falling and turning and picking up sticks and sand and feathers and dry tumbleweeds. You've seen a dust devil do all that. It's fantastic. Well, last March 11th, we were all going somewhere. I was in the back of a pickup truck when the dust devils started to gather. You could see they were giants. You'd swear they were calling their friends to come too. And they came dancing in time to their own windy music. We all started counting. We all started looking for more. They stopped that truck and we turned around, and all around, watching them all, there were 7. That's a lot of dust devils out there. That's a bunch. I think I've seen 2 or 3 at one time, but I don't know that I've ever seen 7. At a time like that, something kind of goes crazy in you. You have to run to meet them, yelling all the way. You have to whirl around like you were one of them, and you can't stop until you're falling down. And then all day you think how lucky you were to be there. Some of my best celebrations are sudden surprises like that. If you weren't outside at that exact moment, you'd miss them. I spend a lot of time outside myself, looking around. Look, she's dancing with the dust devil, the whirlwind, whatever you want to call that. It's a lot of fun. Once I saw a triple rainbow that ended in a canyon where I'd been the day before. I was halfway up a hill standing in a drizzle of rain. It was almost dark, but I wouldn't go in because of the rainbows, of course. And there at the hilltop, a jackrabbit was standing up on his hind legs, perfectly still, looking straight at the same triple rainbow. I may be the only person in the world who's seen a rabbit standing in the midst, quietly watching 3 rainbows. That's worth a celebration any time. I wrote it down and drew the hill and the rabbit and the rainbow and me. So she put that in her book. Look at that. A triple rainbow. And there's the little jackrabbit right there at the top of the hill. That had to be really quite the sight to see. A triple rainbow. I don't think I've seen a triple rainbow. I've seen doubles, but not triples. Now, August 9th is Rainbow Celebration Day. I have a green cloud day too. Ask anybody, they'll tell you clouds aren't green. But late one winter afternoon, I saw this huge green cloud. It was not bluish green or grayish green or something else. This cloud was green. Green as a jungle parrot. And the strange thing was, it began to take a parrot shape. First the wings, and then the head, and then the beak. Have you ever seen a cloud form into something before? I love using my imagination when clouds start to form in the sky. And they're so calm and peaceful. High in the winter sky, that green bird flew. It didn't last more than a minute. You know how fast a cloud can change, but I still remember how it looked. So I celebrate green clouds on February 6th. At times like that, I always think, what if I'd missed it? What if I'd been in the house? Or what if I hadn't looked up when I did? You can see I'm very lucky about things like that. See that green cloud up in the sky? It looks like a parrot. There's the wings and the beak and the eyes. Fantastic. And I was lucky on Coyote Day because out of all the time, it had to be one moment only that a certain coyote and I could meet, and we did. Friend, you should have been here too. I was following deer tracks, taking my time, bending down as I walked, kind of humming. I hum a lot when I'm alone. I looked up in time to see a young coyote trotting through the brush. She crossed in front of me. It was a windy day and she was going east. In that easy, silent way coyotes move, she pushed into the wind. I stood there, hardly breathing, wishing I could move that way. I was surprised to see her stop and turn and look at me. She seemed to think that I was just another creature following another rocky trail. That's true, of course, I am. She didn't hurry. She wasn't afraid. I saw her eyes and she saw mine, and that look held us together. See she's going up the trail, and there's the coyote hiding in the brush. Have you ever seen a coyote running around out on the mesa? Sometimes in town too, huh? And they're out there everywhere. So nice to see. Because of that, I will never feel quite the same again. So on September 28th, I celebrate Coyote Day. And here's what I do. I walk the trail I walked that day, and I hum softly as I go. Finally, I unwrap the feast I've brought for her. Last time, it was 3 apples and some pumpkin seeds and an ear of corn and some big, soft, homemade ginger cookies. I like ginger cookies. The next day, I happened to pass that way again. Coyote tracks went all around the rock where the food had been, and the food was gone. Next year, I'll make it even better. I'll bring an extra feast, and I'll eat there too. Look at that. So there's the coyote tracks, and you can see the little coyote there looking at the food that was left behind. Yep, and she's over here walking down the trail. We see the sun up there, and the beautiful desert scenery. I love the artwork in this book. Another one of my greatest of all celebrations is called the Time of Falling Stars. It lasts almost a week in the middle of August, and I wait all year for those hot summer nights when the sky goes wild. Have you ever seen the falling stars, the shooting stars, meteor showers? You can call them meteor showers if you want to. I like to say they're falling stars. And all that week I sleep outside. I give my full attention to the sky. And every time a streak of light goes shooting through the darkness, I feel my heart shoot out of me. One night I saw a fireball that left a long red blazing trail across the sky. After it was gone, I stood there looking up, not quite believing what I'd seen. The strange thing was I met a man who told me he had seen it too while I was lying by a campfire 500 miles away. He said he did not sleep again that night, and suddenly it seemed that we too spoke a language no one else could understand. Every August of my life, I'll think of that. Wow, Isn't that true? When you and somebody else have seen something that nobody else saw, that you kind of have your own language at that point in time, you've had a unique experience that you shared. That's pretty cool. Friend, I've saved my New Year celebration until last. Mine is a little different from the one most people have. It comes in spring. To tell the truth, I never did feel like my New Year started January 1st. To me, that's just another winter day. I let my year begin when winter ends and morning light comes earlier the way it should. That's when I feel like starting new. I wait until the white-winged doves are back from Mexico and wildflowers cover the hill and my favorite cactus blooms. It always makes me think I ought to bloom myself. See there? There come the birds in the springtime and all the flowers are blooming and she's got some flowers in her hair. It's a great time. Springtime is always very wonderful. And that's when I start to plan New Year's celebration. I finally choose a day that is exactly right. Even the air has to be perfect and the dirt has to feel good and warm on bare feet. Usually it's a Saturday around the end of April. I have a drum I beat to signal the day. Then I go wandering off, following all of my favorite trails to all of the places I like. I check how everything is doing. I spend the day admiring things. So nice to go walking through the desert, hiking around, seeing what we can. Beautiful. The old desert tortoise I know from last year is out, strolling around. I'll go his direction a while. I celebrate with horned toads and ravens and lizards and quail. And friend, it's not a bad party. See the ravens, and we've got the quail here with their little things. I love the quail. They're beautiful. And then she's dancing around, and there's the tortoise over here, right there, a little tortoise out there. Isn't it great? I love this book. It kind of matches the painting in my office, huh? A little bit. Walking back home, kind of humming. Sometimes I think about those people who ask me if I'm lonely here. I have to laugh out loud. See, look at the rabbit hiding in there and the bird. I love the pictures here. And you've got the coyote howling down here at the bottom. I want to make sure everybody can see the picture there. And that is the end of the book. Of course, she's in charge of her own celebrations and she wasn't lonely in the desert. There's so many things going on. Well, I want to thank you again for joining me for this very special book. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoy all the other stories that are posted here on Lavender Libra. You all have an amazing day. And God bless.